Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very, very much for joining us here at the second edition of the ICICI Foundation and CNBC TV18 Inclusive India Awards. We're gathered here this evening with a singular agenda in mind, and that really is to make India a much more inclusive place, to include those on the margins of society into our country's main economic activity. Poverty persists because of limited access to productive resources, and the purpose of this initiative has been to take measures to empower and enable. The Inclusive India series, ladies and gentlemen, is focused on finding solutions for holistic change. We've tried to identify problems across sectors as diverse as education, healthcare, and financial inclusion, with the very clear purpose of charting out a course correction by involving the social sector, the private sector, and the government. Here, I would like to thank the CEO and Managing Director of ICICI Bank, Chanda Kochar, for lending her support and putting her weight behind all of our efforts. Ms. Kochar, we appreciate all the encouragement. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a man who's been intimately involved with Prime Minister's Make in India campaign and also heavily invested in skill development. Please join me in welcoming our chief guest for this evening, the Honourable Minister for Power, Coal, New and Renewable Energy in the Government of India, Mr. Piyush Goyal.
Thank you very much, Shireen. Thank you, Chanda, for a wonderful opportunity to meet my friends back home and also to know more about the efforts that CNBC is recognizing today. I don't think anybody wants to live the kind of life poverty naturally brings to them, whether in the slums, with the kind of sanitation facilities that are actually absent, not even available at all, with the kind of problems of energy, with the problems of the social disorder in that atmosphere. The Prime Minister himself, in most of his interactions with all of us, reminds us of our duty to reach out to the people, to ensure that the lesser privileged people are the focus of our attention. And in that sense, I would certainly like to compliment both the banking sector and the media for having taken the message of this government, taken the message of the Prime Minister to the people of India when they talk about Swachh Bharat, when they involve their officers, their officials to spread the message of the Jan Dhan Yojana. Certainly we found some comments in some of the pink papers, in some of the channels, about the fact that 70% of these accounts don't seem to have a bank balance. But actually these accounts were never meant to have a bank balance. These are those underprivileged people who don't have a balance to put into the bank. The effort was to get them into the mainstream. The expectation was that these banks would never have an account balance. The expectation was that these people who don't have a balance will be encouraged gradually to become conscious of savings, to become conscious of the various subsidies that they are eligible for, to bring them into the direct benefit transfer system so that the government can actually reach out to them directly when we need to have some affirmative action to support their livelihood, their skill development, their jobs, their entrepreneurship. And in that sense, I would compliment the poor people of India who have already deposited close to $1 billion. The amount that has come into these accounts is over 6,000 crores. I think is a testimony to their deep understanding of what is good for them, how they see a more secure future for themselves and their children once they come into the banking mainstream. I would like to compliment those poor people, and I hope today's program encourages more people and viewers of CNBC, people who bank with ICICI Bank and other private banks also, to take this mission forward.
This year, Inclusive India, as we pointed out, is focused essentially on the agenda of skills development. What do you believe is going to be different about the way that you will take forward the skilling agenda under your government, sir?
This government has in the first instance removed the skill component of different ministries and centered it around one separate new ministry and given a very seasoned leader. Mr. Rajiv Pratap Rudy is a very seasoned, experienced minister who's been given this important task to reflect our concern and our seriousness in this ministry. And secondly, the fact that this time around we are planning it to scale, not necessarily through government intervention alone. When a government can plan to do 100,000 or 1 million people, but the country needs far more. And the expectations, aspirations are far deeper. So we are planning to engage more with the private sector, take it up as a role of a facilitator. So we'll map the skills that are required for the jobs and try and skill people for the actual requirement.
So Chanda, have you taken the minister up on his offer? Are you going to be supplying him the kind of people that he needs and skilling them for him as well?
Well, indeed, that's what we've been doing. In fact, we set up this initiative just about a year ago or less than that. And in this less than 10 months or so, we've set up 9 centers all over India. And we believe we're setting up so many numbers of centers because it's important to go closer to where the people are rather than expecting them to come at a central level. And, the skills that we talked about here, as you saw, are very basic. People who want to become, repair people for ACs, electrical work, even basic selling skills, office administration skills. And by the time this financial year ends, we are actually going to be training about 10,000 people. So I think in that sense, for the first year, it's a good number.
What should we expect now, Chanda, as far as you're concerned? In year 2, you said you've already been able to achieve 10,000 in terms of numbers as far as the first year is concerned. What more can we expect, and what is it that you would like to achieve now? As he said, 3 is a toddler bursting with energy, 2, you're just about getting onto your feet. So what is it that you would like to see happen for the foundation with the skills initiative in year 2?
Well, we'd like to scale it in various manners. One is that make sure we add a few more skills, depending on, as Minister said, this is the new India, and the kind of skills that India needs are very different. You'd be surprised that even when we go to rural India, it's no longer just only skills related to agriculture. You even need someone who can repair the mobile phones because mobile phones have reached there. So we'll have to continuously look at that. The second is we'll look at how to scale it in a manner that it becomes even more cost effective. So we are now looking at making sure all our centers work at least 2 shifts, if not 3 shifts, so that we utilize the infrastructure that we have. But not just that. So far, we were now taking the centers closer to people. Now we are saying that we'll take even the skill development further closer to people. So from a center, we actually convert a lot of this learning in e-form and take it even to villages. So we've, started that kind of growth as well. And I think these are the ways in which we can multiply the impact of whatever we are planning to do.
Piyush Goyal, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much, Chanda. Thank you very much.